are confused. The army's becoming bemused. Another bomb becomes diffused, and the terrorists aren't amused. Paisley is getting his shirt off. Sinn Féin are going insane. They strive to divide the countryside, but the borderline remains. Another attack leaves a widow in black, grieving for her bereaved. Another kid with a brick gets shot in the back and gets left on the pavement to bleed. And they keep telling me it's not my concern. It's not my concern. It's not my concern. Anybody know any jokes?
All right. Hello. 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 How goes it, everyone out there in TV land? All right. Let's see here. Should be fine. Little ambient in the background. All right. Let's see here, folks. Let's see here. It is so fucking hot. It is so crazy hot. It's so bad hot. It's terrible. But hopefully it'll calm down soon. But then it'll just get even hotter. I'm actually questioning how I'm going to be able to stream during the summer. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to stream from my iPad or something. And there won't be any music, and it'll just be me talking. Or something really boring or stupid like that. Because I don't know how I'm going to. The room, everything I have is, and like all my PC stuff is like really hot in the summer. Maybe I could start the stream later. I don't know. Anyway, I was trying to find their fourth wall. I tried to find under Sour Trip 95 as you posted. I could not find that name. There might be a tag associated with it. My suggestion is join the you don't have to apply if you don't like and all that, but just join our server and I should be able to find you fairly easy after that, because you'll pop up and then I could just look for the name. Since you're new to Discord, you don't want to, so I would just say join the server. The link is like in the description. Just join the server and then you should pop up and I should be able to see that name, and then I should be able to like add you so you can message me or whatever. All right, I hope you heard that, because just the name you gave me isn't enough. It's not popping up. I need like full tag user ID, because that's not working. All right, in any case, no, that's cool. Just join the server and then I'll see your name and I'll add you or whatever. If it is under that name and it's the same PFP, it should be easy to find. Okay, so fun topic. Let me get into it in a bit here. Withers, okay, you're taking your meds. Good, that's helpful. I don't. My meds don't make me happy, but they sure make me functional. So there's that. So that's an important thing to be sometimes, especially if you're moving toward something beyond just functional. That would be great. A little self-actualization action or something like that. No updates on me or anything I'm doing in particular. See here. Just talking to a few people behind the scenes that I want to see if I can do something with. What else? No, that's about it for that. Okay. Let me get into the topic now before people start leaving. Something it's like been rattling around in my brain. I've seen a lot of people say this. I've seen I've just seen people mention it on servers and on like Reddits and like, people's comments, right? And like, it's not just like some like what's the word? It's not just I'm not just talking about like people that are just like constantly whinging about wanting like a BF and a GF. Nah, people aren't leaving yet, but they do if I take too long to get anywhere. And I just, it drives me crazy. It always has, because I've never understood it. And it is connected to my full point. It's a little deeper than just that. At least I think so. But yeah, on the internet, you will see a lot of people complaining about not having boyfriends and girlfriends and partners, or like relationships. And like, this is something that's always been kind of strange to me, because it's never been like a major priority in my life in order to achieve, or like, it's not something like I actively sought after. I didn't seek out things like, relationships, or even like, sexual encounters or anything like that. It wasn't really something that I went like, oh yeah, I'm gonna spend my day thinking about how I can make this thing happen, right? No, that's never really been the case for me. I know for a lot of schizoids, well, all of you, things of that nature have never been like a major priority, right? And it's always been really strange to me because it's always been in pop culture, movies growing up, even now, TV shows, right? There seems to be this like ongoing theme of like the girl that wants the guy or the guy that wants the girl, so on, so forth, forever and ever. And it seems to like direct a lot of people's lives in some significant way for a significant portion of their life. I'm guessing especially like their 20s and such, and 30s. It's just weird, because and this is coming from somebody that I'm married and I have children, right? I love my wife and I love my kids. This is all true. But I never really did anything to actively seek those check boxes. Like I never went like, oh man, I want to wife somebody up and then she could have my babies and I could have a family and then that will give me purpose. That's always been really strange to me. I have always viewed those types of things negatively in the past. I see them positively now, but I still do not see them as the start all end all of anything that has to do with like my sense of meaning. It's a big part of it, but it isn't like it, right? It is made up of tons of variables. And so I've always found it really strange that there seems to be this emphasis on happiness being the goal, having a family being the goal, having a romantic relationship that was fulfilling be the goal. Because there's just so many other goals to worry about. There's just so many other things that I'm driven more to pursue. So in many ways, and I kind of fell into, due to happenstance and circumstance and meeting the right kind of woman, I stumbled into this. And it ended up being incredibly positive. And then I made the decision at some point that I was okay with children because I wanted to have children with this woman in particular. It wasn't I always wanted to have children. It was I wanted to have children with this woman. Had I not met this woman, I would never have had children. I would not have pursued heaven. I would not have pursued marriage. I would not have pursued some kind of long-term relationship. I just wouldn't have. Now, I have pursued more carnal desires. Sure, but it would probably be something more along the lines of like a mutual exchange type situation, right? These are not things I actively pursued and then achieved. It's really weird when people get like, I've seen comments or when people get jealous and weird that it's like, oh yeah, you're a real schizoid guy, you fucking lucky guy with your having wife and kids and stuff, and I can't even find a girlfriend. And it's like, I don't know why you're so upset at me. If those things are that important to you, get good. But those things are not super important to me at the time. They've become important over the course of my life. But I would not be sitting around sad and whinging about not having accomplished it. Wonder how much of that is having ADHD as a comorbidity. I do not think it has anything to do with that. I know plenty of people that have that are zoids with ADHD or just ADHD people, and they also are often seeking these same things as like a top 2 priority. That's like a top 2 priority. And it's just so fucking confusing to me. Like, I can't even say I got lucky, because you know what I mean? It's like, it's weird. It's just the circumstances worked out in that way. And I'm happy they did. And honestly, I'll give you this. If it weren't for that occurring, I probably would have gone down some rabbit holes and lost my mind at some point. So I'm very thankful every day that my level-headed wife and my wonderful children anchor me to reality in its varying forms. Right? So they give me something to anchor me. So that is something I consider a catalyst toward, meaning and purpose in life for me. And I give them purpose, and they give me purpose, and it is a beautiful thing. It is love. But I just find it really strange that people will spend their entire lives pursuing that very thing. And oftentimes they'll have like a very idealized version of it. And they will constantly throw away particularly good circumstances. And I think the reason that is happening is because their primary goal is to find that perfect synergy relationship. This will be the father of my children pursuit, like this kind of very single-minded pursuit. Like, another thing that baffles me is like the idea of anybody having like a pursuit and then giving up on that pursuit in order to chase after this one. Right? Like, it's so weird. Like, people that are like, I don't know, in college or something, and they have this passion for something, and then they decide, no, like, unless you got like pregnant or got someone pregnant, in which case you're stupid and use condoms if that's not what you wanted to do. But where they actively go, oh, I'm gonna drop out of whatever it is, or I'm gonna stop my business, or whatever it is that like they care about, because I'm gonna dedicate myself to pursuing building a family. And in my mind, I go, well, if you have to like sacrifice a bunch of stuff about who you are in order to build that, why are you wanting to build that so badly? And I'm guessing it's because it matters more to them than whatever it is that they were pursuing prior to making that decision. I'm guessing that's what it is. Right. And so that thing, that drive, it was just not there for me. It was just not there for me. I think what I was pursuing when it came to like relationships or anything like that, I was pursuing human connection, because I was trying to figure out why I couldn't do it, or why there weren't humans that I can connect with. Remember, I'm 40, so I didn't have a lot of access to the internet for a good portion, or the internet we have now and such. Things like Discord did not exist. And yeah, so when I see somebody talking about this, to me that's kind of like a flag that that person's probably not that person's not schizoid. When they harp, like anybody that harps on and on about how they can't find a sexual or romantic partner no matter how hard they try, you have a different problem. I don't know why that is like in even your top like 5 concerns. Like, I've seen people online in various spaces talking about like, oh, well, I can't even find a GF or a BF, and so that I can have like kids and make a family. What's the point of being alive? I should just, you know, backflip off a bridge. And I'm like, is that all your existence is? Is that all you can derive from it? Is that, and if you're having trouble deriving, obviously, much out of your existence, a common schizoid issue, is that the limits of your existential terror and dread? That's it? That's the problem? That's where your existential dread comes from? I'm getting older and I didn't make a babies, and I didn't find the love of my life. That's like your whole deal? You can't, like, and I'm guessing it is, and I'm guessing that's pretty fucking normal for a lot of people. Another one that's always been strange is being like broken up with, and people being incredibly sad about it. I get why it might be disappointing, but like, why do people get, like, how can somebody be depressed for weeks about it? Hold on 1 second. How can somebody be that messed up about it for weeks? Or months, or people don't get over it for years? That's just, what is happening? What are we doing? And I guess that's something that's relatively normal. People treat it like it was a death. Getting like broken up with or left or divorced from or something. They grieve it. The person is not dead. The person has decided they don't want to be with you. Why would you want somebody that doesn't want to be with you to stay with you? What is the goal there? Is human connection worth the effort? Absolutely. I agree. Like, I kind of disagree with this modern notion of having everything in your life in order and perfect before marrying and having kids, because that's never really how it was. I knew a guy who lost weight due to a breakup. That's sweet. I don't get it. But also, if you are all fixated on is a partner, that's bad, because that comes after you just go out there, so to speak. I think things like finding a partner, anything like that, should happen organically. I think even people, let's just say people that are social, people that are, quote, normal, that aren't some fucking neurodivergent schizoid like me, right? I think what they should be doing is making friends, finding alliances of mutual values, ethics, and concerns. I think they should stop trying to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend and then just make friends. I'm not wanting to do that, but I'm saying for the average person that is pursuing a romantic relationship that will be functional, they should make friends. And then friends can sometimes become more for a lot of people, right? And even then, they should take those sorts of things slowly. I like the idea of dating is goofy. It's so fucking goofy. It feels like archaic. What would be a better option than dating, right? For people that care about that stuff. Okay, here we go. They could just go to places where mutual interests align, that are not, I want put baby in you. If that's your mutual interest, then I guess go to the baby making club seminars. But say you really, really like something. Uh-oh, my little one's having a meltdown in the background. Hopefully you guys don't hear that. But, mommy. But, arranged marriage with dowry. Thank God someone said it. But it just go make friends. And then those friends may, like, if you have that alignment of interests of, I want GF, I want love, romance thing, then do that with those people. Like, one of the dumbest things I ever hear, like, said anywhere is when people say, oh, we've been friends for years, I don't want to mess that up and, you know, start dating. Okay. That's stupid. If your friendship is strong, it should not kill it. If it is weak, then it would never become a relationship anyway. It is not that complicated. And I'm talking in regards to me trying to, like, think what is best for people that actually are pursuing these things and care about these things to the degree that so many people seem concerned with. Why is it I, the guy who is not or never has pursued it to that degree, why is that guy the guy who has better advice? My little one's having a meltdown. She probably threw some store toys and probably isn't gonna get something they want. Actions have consequences. We all must know this. Goldilocks zone. Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. I probably would have done something like that because I do have a functional libido. But I probably would have been some kind of mutual arrangement or something if I didn't go down, you know, this path. And I probably, like I said, I think I would have lost my mind. So I'm really happy. I don't know about happy, but like I'm content. I'm satisfied that this is the route I went down in life, which was, you know, marriage and children. Because I think like I said, I would have probably been wandering the streets, talking to myself or things of that nature. It gave me it was the combination of the schizoid adaptations along with having a anchor that has been amnesia of sorts. But anyway, yeah, and so then that goes a little further, which is happiness. Everyone seems to be chasing it. Everyone seems to talk about it. I want happiness. I want joy. I want to feel good. I like I said, maybe it's just because I'm weird. But that doesn't vibe with me. I feel like happiness is a state that is transient, I think is the right word. It's temporary. It is a state that one can experience for bursts of time. Try to integrate, sorry, my phone, have good memories created out of it, and give you motivation and drive to pursue or accomplish triumph against adversity, right? It is something that could fuel that, give you energy when it is required. It is energizing, right? It is not something that can remain for even really extended periods of time. People have a very delusional view of what happiness is. So much so that I think that some people, because they think it doesn't exist or it can't be like achieved the way I idealized it, they turn to like being doomers or being like wanting to just go like full ego death or something. And I'm just like, oh, hey, bro, you want to go full ego death? Because like happiness isn't real or something, what have you done to like accomplish being able to have some moments of that kind? Oh, who cares because it's not like sustainable? Okay, cool, your delusion isn't sustainable. Moving on. Except that it is a state that is temporary like any other state or emotion. That's it. I think the pursuit of happiness makes people miserable. And it's the same thing when we're talking about people that are like searching for that girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, future person that they haven't found. When they make that a primary goal, they're gonna be fucking miserable because they're putting all their eggs in one fucking basket, which is crazy. Like even like fucking normies that like really prioritize that on their top 3, don't make it, I guess, part of your top 3. Don't make it your top 3. Don't make all 3 that thing. It's wild. And it takes like people years going through a lot of it, relationships and breakups and all this stuff just to figure some of this shit out. I mean, there's entire books about it. There's, it's all over the fucking place. It's such a focus that the average person has that, there's plenty out there that you can follow and read and understand that could help you stop doing it stupid, if that's what's so important to you. When something's important to me, I try not to do it stupid. So if that's important to you, stop doing it stupid. Do it smarter. Do it more efficiently. Make better decisions. I haven't made the best decisions in my life. I accept that. But have I made really good decisions now that I have a very kind of central understanding of purpose? Yes, I feel like I'm making some pretty good ones. It's just so weird. It's so weird to hear somebody else tell you about their problem. And it's a problem that you do not possess because you are not motivated by the very thing that is causing them that problem. And you have answers to those questions that are viable, and they just go unheard and ignored. And then it's just a waste of time. It's so strange. So very strange. But yes, I'll say it again. For me, having a partner, having children that I love and I would kill for, I would die for sure, is an incredibly important aspect of me being able to attain those moments of happiness. Yes. But is happiness my goal? Absolutely not. It is something that feels good. It is something that is energizing. Joy, a moment of joy, a good memory. Yes, those things are good things. They're not everything. You want to know here, how about this? Let me talk about the things that I think have more meaning in the very things that I'm not basically putting all my happiness concern into. My children, I'll talk about them. That's an easy one, right? The challenges that it brings. My ability to overcome them. Seeing them grow. Seeing how what I've taught them and what I've tried to instill in them having a positive effect on their lives. Seeing that I'm trying to sort of, especially, my older one, and I got a littler one, but I'm trying to talk about some of these things in, obviously a more like age appropriate way, about like, hey, what is, like, life isn't just about this, and life isn't just about that, and there's so much in this and that, and like, and then seeing those kind of ideas and lessons being kind of integrated. The challenge of seeing them make decisions that I wish I could help them, but they have to struggle with, and I will be there supporting as they wish me to, and things like that. Like, all of those things I'm describing, all of those things have meaning to me. They have purpose, they have meaning, they have value to me. Now, is what gives them all that value how all the pleasure it gives me, the emotional pleasure, happiness it gives me? Is that all that drives me to do that? Absolutely not. When somebody says, my children make me happy, the next question I ask is, what does that mean to you? What does that mean? Your children make you happy. How would you describe that? In what way? Could you detail it? I could. Could you tell me what makes you happy in association with them? Are they all of your happiness? Is this happiness sometimes mixed with sadness, regret, resentment? Your children make you a lot of things. They don't just make you happy. What they should do, ideally, is give you happiness, or some level of happiness, not all your happiness, right? And give you a sense of purpose. You created a life, and now you must make the choice to uphold that responsibility, and that duty is meaningful. You living up to your ethics, your standards, is meaningful. Making them laugh is meaningful. Them making you laugh is meaningful. Is it all about happy? No, it's not. I love the laughter of my kids. I think kids are great. They're so sincere. They're so straightforward. They make me laugh. And I think the value in that is that sincerity. Fascinating. It's like pre socialization, curiosity, questioning, and a variety of things. It's like a really raw human experience that they're doing. Something that people literally have to essentially do drugs to feel again. To feel like children once more. And I feel like anybody that's just trying to pursue I call it emotional hedonism, and that's the standard they set for themselves in life, I think that person has to stop being a child. I think that person still believes that being a child is what they want in life. They want what children have. That was a step you went through. That was not a goal you must regress back into. That's why kids, little kids, they just want to feel good all the time. And stuff that feels bad is bad no matter what. That is a child's thinking. Stuff that makes me sad is bad. No. Stuff that makes you sad is not bad. Some stuff is good that makes you sad. There are oftentimes very good things that make you sad. And one of those good things is what you're sad about and why you're sad. Your capacity for empathy. The ability to have that sadness. That's something positive. There are lessons in that. Feeling sad isn't always bad. Feeling angry isn't always bad. Feeling resentment isn't always bad. Feeling happiness isn't always good. Feeling pleasure isn't always good. Because there are many layers to good and bad. I don't understand why these sorts of things are just not like what is being taught at a high school level. Why was I in my 20s and even my teens like reading philosophy and theology stuff and all kinds of shit instead of paying attention to my schoolwork? Why is that? Because there was actually really useful lessons in that stuff. I am not a genius. I am probably like relatively, like I'm probably smarter than the average human, but not by a whole lot. I'm just like a gifted kid or whatever. I've been gifted, what they used to say. Now I hear that and I just think about how I fucking part of fucking CIA ops and shit, public schools. But and so it's just not that difficult a thing. And it's what's really interesting is that when I talk to schizoids about these sorts of things, a lot of them go like, yeah, right, yeah. That's kind of the response to some of the stuff I say. They go, yeah, that makes, yeah, why? Oh, you get it. Why is it like this? Why are they doing this? And I'm wondering, like, one thing that makes me wonder a lot about the schizoid is that even if they're like super like melancholic and super just like not motivated to do shit with their life or whatever, why is it that so many of them actually have like this deep understanding of these sorts of things? I bet some of you were listening to the stuff I said and that you probably thought, yeah, that's what I've always agreed. Like, I felt that way a lot. Or, oh, you just said it in a way that makes sense to me. Or I have a different way of looking at it, but it's pretty close. Right? Why is it that the very people not pursuing it have a better grasp of it? I have a strong grasp of the things I am pursuing as well as the things that I do not pursue. Yes, I've heard that before. I don't have a final say on that active. I don't know enough about, but I have heard that before. I don't put a lot of stock into like one study or idea. I think it's goofy when people do that. Like they hear about Dunning-Kruger and then all of a sudden they fucking use it for everything. That's a whole different thing. It's like what people do with like things like the ICD and DSM, like internet sleuths or like armchair armchair warriors, keyboard warriors. Yeah, they like memorize all the stuff in the DSM and now they start fucking applying that shit to everyone they find on the internet. It's dumb. Like the people that like learn every fucking fallacy and then they start using, like, they fallaciously use claiming that fallacies are occurring because they know enough about fallacies and the lack of people understanding how they function that they start creating fallacies that allow them to win arguments, knowing full well they're that very thing. They're just being incredibly, like, disingenuous and bad faith. Like, it's crazy. People are gross. They'll go through those lengths. They will go through those lengths. There's a lot of humans out there that will actively gain more knowledge for the purpose of putting one over on other people. Like, that's the goal. I want to know about everything so that I could put one over on anybody that gets in front of me. It's sick. Get help. It seems like Zoids, academies, yeah. It seems like Zoids usually don't accept the cultural narrative, how you're supposed to live What you're describing seem to be people who accept that cultural narrative. Yeah, but they don't have to. And if they need a cultural narrative, make a better one, because that cultural narrative is busted and stupid. That cultural narrative is ass. The current cultural narrative, yeah, it's shit. You can create an interpersonally focused cultural narrative and it not be garbage. Like, you can have you know, all these kind of more, I guess, neurotypical pursuits in views and non-zoidy kind of directives, that like all that stuff can be fine. It's just that the narratives that have been constructed surrounding it and how they should function are fucking dumb. Like, and I often hear people conflate a cultural narrative that exists as it does now as like using like a naturalistic fallacy about it, like going like, that's just human nature, that's how people are. No, that's what people became. That's not what people are. People can be many things. Cultures could be many ways, many things. The human brain is capable of overriding and defying its own genetic impulses, or whatever you want to call them. All the things that people claim are human nature, those are things that your brain is capable of fighting against. You can literally, like, stop it. We do it all the time. That's how a lot of laws are created. Transcend, yeah, it's not that hard. We've done it. It's just really fucking slow. It's so goddamn slow, it's pathetic. That's what laws, as you know, that's why more resources allow for more room to do things other than wanting to, like, kill each other and take each other's shit. But even in those kinds of conditions, there are ways to do it better. And oftentimes it's not that people are stupid, it's just that they were instructed in very, very destructive ways. And the generations and generations of families keep sort of reinforcing that socially over and over. Believing that even though they're miserable, somehow doing that very thing that makes them miserable is going to make their child not miserable. That's fucking dumb. What's wrong with you? You actually look at it on that level of abstraction on a regular basis. Most people genuinely need psychedelic drugs to come to these conclusions. Leaving groupthink is unthinkable. Yeah, that's why we should teach people how to leave groupthink more. That's why that's something that you should be taught as a child. Metacognition should be taught. It should be something that is alongside the ABCs. ABC 1, 2, 3. Let's have food for you and me. It's just wild. You know, the most advanced country or whatever, or the most powerful nation in the world, right? The United States of America. A bunch of European countries. Even like some of the smaller ones that do the more experimental stuff that's actually pretty cool. They're still not doing this. No, see, that's a lie. Inks wants to unnormie the normies. No, they can like what they like. They can be motivated by these things that don't quite make sense to me in the way, but can they do it in a way that doesn't fucking make everything worse? That would be great. And it doesn't just make everything worse for people that are not like them, it makes everything worse for them too. I think people need to experience solitude in their youth to learn how to be with themselves, to develop a sense of individuality, but unfortunately that opportunity doesn't exist for many people. Create it. Make that part of the curriculum. make the cultural narrative to not rely entirely on any single cultural narrative. That'd be good. Talk about how a narrative, what a narrative is, and why it's constructed, what uses it has. Talk about that. There's ways to like talk about it, and it doesn't have to be like a fucking college course. You could talk about that shit at a very basic level. I've had those conversations at those levels with my own kids. I explain those little things growing up. My oldest one is a very unique person because of it. She notices things that her peers do not. She tells me herself. She says, "Dad, I notice these things. You know, things like unfairness, sort of like self-perpetuating lies, inefficiency, things like that." She'll be like, "Why did they do these things? It doesn't make sense. Isn't this better?" And sometimes I'll think, "Oh, so what do you think is better?" And they'll tell me, and I'll be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The cultural narrative is a vehicle with no pilot. It's like an ecosystem. I disagree that it has no pilot. There are definitely pilots. Now, is it something that can be directed to land on a dime? No. But no, there's absolutely a multitude of factors that pilot this thing. Hold on a second, my daughter's here.
How did you see me?
There we go. Yeah, but yes, it's not any, like, it's not a cabal, but it is a systems that are enforced and like what's it called, thrown into like cyclical situations in which the people in those positions of power that benefit from it decide to keep that, hamster wheel running and do everything they can for that hamster wheel to not derail or do something different that would put them in a position in which they would not be at that same height of power. Yeah, that's like basically a way of piloting it through a force of various kinds. Let's see. To be excluded from the group is death in our evolutionary history. We are mutants that struggle to survive outside the group. Yeah, let's stop living like that's still the case. How about that? I understand why we evolved what we did. Why do we have to continue living that way? The brain is so much capable of so much more. It's capable of amazing levels of abstraction, concrete thinking, amalgamations of both. Why aren't we nurturing that in human beings? Why are we instead just saying, "Oh, well, that's like how it is, bro, and it'll never change"? Like, what? Why is that what so many people say? Are pilots that are unconscious of the role they play truly pilots? No, they're conscious. Even the people with the most agency, like Trump, are mostly just wrapped up in their own warped view. I honestly, I do not believe that people in those types of positions, for as long as they have been with those levels of power, have no like metacognitive understanding of their actions. Like, and on a bigger scale. Like I do not think that. I do not. I don't think you get there and stay there and you're just a fucking automaton. I think it's that awareness and a callous abandon of the ethical responsibilities of having such an awareness with that much power is what they're doing. I think it is very intentional. And it might not be as complicated as I'm making it sound, but here's like an easy way to explain what I think is happening. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's it. So essentially it's this belief that if I'm in this position and you're on the same boat, we should work together in order to keep something that is unethical continuing so that we continue benefiting it. So yes, they will get together. They will work together in certain fashions for these sort of like idealistic reasons that benefit them. I think they're very conscious of what it is. They've just made a kind of this mutual decision of, oh yeah, this benefits us all, right? This benefits all our bottom lines, correct? Yes. Okay, then we should put a stop to that and then go back to fighting each other. I think even groups that hate each other at those levels will band together in order to keep perpetuating a system that keeps them in a position in which they can continue fighting each other at that at that higher level, even though the fight in and of itself is like fucking stupid. I think there are intentional understandings of that. It's sort of the same reason the church and the state in, you know, or it depends on the country obviously, but in the past why you know, the monarchy and the church will like work together in order to keep the average person down, because it keeps them both seated in those positions of power, even though like they're at each other's throats in other ways. Yeah, it's why like even the populists like Trump will go after like stuff that people like, it makes them feel good, that like they want change or whatever, but won't actually go after the stuff that matters or could negatively impact people of his like stature, power, and so on. Like in general, like that's not what they're doing. That's not what they're saying. That's not what they're doing. I think more research should be done on how the mental processes of people in positions of extreme power and their conditions. Yeah, good luck getting them to do that. It would require the dismantling of aspects of that very system to ever get them to agree to doing anything of that kind, because they have the power to never do that. Why would they want to give away how their mind works? Why would they do that? They would not. That very question, Withers, is one you need to answer for yourself. I give away how my mind works constantly. I'm in no danger. Vidya, I don't know. I wonder how much of that research could be done remotely through observation. They do make public appearances. Yeah, but then you end up in that fucked up, dumb situation where you have the people doing like, oh, look at the facial gestures, the hand gestures, and then it's a bunch of plain psychic. And the psychological community already does that in a lot of stupid fucking ways. Like, because they oftentimes assign behavior, like, internal motivations, like, and then like make big old plans in conjunction with that. So like, yeah, I've seen that kind of research. It can be like novel sometimes, but like it doesn't really do like, you know, talking about like making up the psychological profile of Abraham Lincoln, right? It's like, okay, yeah, kind of. I mean, but it's just like so many layers of complexity and like masking and obligation and internal monologues that aren't being ever put to paper. Like, it's just so much. It's goofy. I think instead of like worrying about that, we should worry about like why the kinds of people that do these kinds of things end up in those positions, and what we can change about how society functions, so that that stops reoccurring over and over and that doesn't keep getting fed. I mean, the best thing we can like do, I gotta go though, but like one of the best things you can do, like to cause a lot of havoc, would be to convince the people, the children of the people in those positions, to like learn these things early, and then for them to want to rebel against the very like the very institutions their fathers and grandfathers uphold, because eventually those people will die. Those people will die of old age. Yeah, I mean, it would just be basically be like, oh, whoa, I'm in this like I have an understanding of how I'm like of this massive generational privilege, and how I can actively make choices to reduce some of that in order to enact a positive change in the world. Yeah, like that would be cool. Like it's not even about like, oh, you know, you take the world and spread it around. No, it's more like generationally convince people that like, oh yeah, having all this shit is not a meaningful existence. Make them hate the very money that their parents created. No, yeah, but they're doing it stupid too in that sense. Well, they will, if you work at enough people give a shit and work at it hard enough. It has happened. I mean, you can sort of see it in like some, in really pathetic and very slow moving ways in some of the like startups and people that like have businesses that, you know, they went from no generational wealth to like creating something, or even if they don't create something that is like of like, you know, the same stature as like you know, some kind of multi-corpo conglomerate shit, like they still hold like ethical sort of mantras that keep them from growing to the size that they would not want to grow to begin with. But yeah, I'm not. It's a horrible and terrible, difficult thing. It will take hundreds of years, if not thousands. Don't hate money, hate the institution of government and the religion of statism. Well, yeah, all that. Those things can be bad, and money can be bad too. All those things can be bad all at the same time. All those things can be true all at once. I mean, if you're gonna have money, you better like start a new currency based on completely different ideals, because cash, money, USD, money as we understand it now is completely fucked and tainted. It's all money is blood money. At this point, all money is blood money. That's a state we. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into all that stuff right now. I gotta go. In any case, guys, I totally went off the rails there. I don't know why. Oh yeah, that's because I'm me. If you like the stream, please support me on Patreon or whatever. If you have any ideas for what I could talk about, especially in conjunction with some Zoid perspectives, views, experiences, stuff like that, go ahead and put it in the server. Very true, Comrade Angst. No, I'm not. I consider things like socialism as steps toward something that could potentially be useful, but not the ends. Nah, you'd have to like dismantle that too eventually. Even if like you became more socialist, that would have its own problems that you would have to break apart, and then keep breaking things and keeping the things that work and breaking more things. And but unfortunately, that's the problem. People break things and then they make things, and then they get into positions and where the newly made thing, it gives them that continuous power and wealth, and then they want to stay in that position forever, and so they're not willing to unmake some of those things and lose some of that power in order to create something even better after that. So then they get stuck in these fucking things for like ever. It's sort of what I think happened with capitalism. Capitalism has its use, it had its heyday, it had its purpose. We can now move on from it. That's it. It's that was a good experiment. A lot of good things came out of it. Yes. Okay. Let's do something different now. This isn't working. And let's try the other thing and see what works and what doesn't work, and then get rid of the stuff that didn't work, and then get rid of that and do on, so on and so forth. That's why I guess I consider myself a at this point, I consider myself like some kind of like meta anarchist or something. Yeah, I'm comfortable saying that. Yeah, I'm an anarchist for sure. In any case, and no, that doesn't mean being an accelerationist. Those are not the same thing. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, support me on Patreon, PayPal, whatever, because we still need money, and I still need money, and I wish I didn't, but I do. Let's see here, saw life transfer origins of money the other day, and it's always been tied to the state. Yeah, but it's become more than that. Like, it represents a lot more than its ties to the state. Where something came from is not what it is forever. It has become, it has transformed into other things, even worse things than just its association to the state. Yeah. No, that's true. But I guess, I don't know. All right. Join the server, Zoid Void. If you're a schizoid, apply on the schizoid portion. If you're not, then just chill in the annex. If you like the channel, that's cool. You don't have to be a schizoid to like my channel, but you do have to be somebody that's likely schizoid in order to get into the schizoid portions of the server. We have a vetting system. It works pretty well. It's been working pretty good, chugging along. 90% of the people there are lurkers, which makes sense considering the demographic. All right. Peace out, good luck, and as usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day.